Everyone, roll call, please.
Mr. Shadid?
Here.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Here.
Mr. Mehta?
Here.
Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Socio?
Here.
Ms. Guadagnino?
Here.
Mayor Womack?
Your sunshine notice, please.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publication in the Home News Tribune on January 14, 2025, indicating that the North Brunswick Township Council holds regular meetings on the first and third Monday of each month at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Building, 710 Herman Road, North Brunswick, and agenda meetings on the second and fourth Monday of the month at the same place at 7 p.m. In the event a regular meeting falls on a legal holiday, the meeting shall be held on Tuesday night after said holiday at the same place and hour.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Davis, can you lead us in the pledge to the flag?
Yes, sir, Mayor.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On this evening's consent agenda, we have not yet found or made or reached any agreement with anyone to serve as municipal prosecutor. So I'm asking that number Z be pulled. Is there any others that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I'd like to pull S, X, W, and Y.
S, X, W,
Let me just make sure.
And
I'm
Y.
right. S, X, W, and Y.
X, W, and Y. Oh, is
Yep.
it S, X, W, and Y?
Yes.
So is there a motion to approve consent agenda items A through R, T and U and V, double A and AB?
Mr. Mayor, can I make a point of clarification? Unfortunately, on the paper, you're right, on the online agenda, Z is a water and sewer adjustment. I think they pulled Z. What was Z? Well, I don't know which one we're going with.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't know.
Which one are we going with, Justin?
Wait, which agenda are we using?
That's my question.
I don't have
right now.
one in front of me that I can use then. Do you have,
Here's the online.
that's okay. Just, Carla, why don't you make the motion?
Okay, it's A through R, T, U, V, Z, and AA. Want to double check before we do it to make sure that we're right?
And AB should be on there, too.
And AB's gone?
AB is no longer there because AB now became AA on the online
Okay.
agenda.
I printed this like at noon.
I'll get it, I'll give it to you, Mary Lou, we'll get it to you. So, again, A through R, T,
You are, yeah, go next.
T, U, V,
Yep.
Z, and double A.
Bob, those are not the same ones that are on the page in front of you.
Oh.
Because the one that's up there got altered.
Okay.
What is he doing? He's pulling?
Okay. Okay, good. So the Z was already off. All right. Is there a second to Carlo's motion?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Shadid?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Mehta?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Socio?
Yes.
Ms. Guadagnino?
Yes.
Thank you, Councilman Socio. The first one, I
Yeah.
guess, was S.
Item S, item S is authorizing change orders in 19, 20, and 21 with Brockwell. As of when I was looking about an hour and a half ago, change order 21 was blank. There was no dollar amount. I believe there was a dollar amount, but I'd like to ask how we got there and what it's for, and are we comfortable with this number? Because, you know,
Ms. Program, why don't you start telling us the
Yeah.
procedure on how we got there, and then maybe one of the directors, if necessary, can fill in on whether we're comfortable with the number or whether we should be comfortable with the number.
Absolutely. So as we talked at the workshop, there was some additional change order items, 20, 21, and 22. This was from additional work for around the windows, as well as at the bottom around the doors for the exterior that had to be done for additional blocking to the exterior. Following that, as we spoke last week, there was some work with the elevator. The original proposal was about $45,000. Based on the original state inspector that had come out, they had provided that proposal. That subsequently was being revised with the various inspectors as we spoke last week at the workshop. That came back. They had the inspections as to what was needed. It came in, I believe, about $15,000 for the revised proposal that we got late this afternoon. In addition, I believe there was about $1,700 of additional blocking that was required, and that, I believe, was the two changes that were added on.
And what was the timeline for getting those more specifically since last week?
That, I believe, came through, what, 3-something this afternoon, is the revised for the elevator inspection.
And when you say it came through, you mean that
I
that's when
forwarded
Blackwell
the email
sent it
to the
us?
group. That's what came through, and we then added it on later on today. We amended the resolution, and we sent that through.
Mr. Boyd? you-
So
something to
the,
add?
yes, so the revision to the change order, I think it's 21. Like Justine was saying, that was regarding additional work that was found after doors were removed. There was some blocking that was voided in some of those areas, and they had to move the doors back. I spoke to Pete Compensano this afternoon. We had a nice conversation regarding Brockwell. And I believe 36, which is on here for additional 1,700, that's going to be gone. That's not, we're not going with that one. Per Pete Compensano, my conversation with him about 5 o'clock.
You know what my biggest question is because, you know, we're up to change order 23, and we seem to be chasing things here, and I understand that there's work that's being done outside of the scope, similar to what I do in contracts, and whenever I have something that's outside of the scope or is in addition to the line item, I mean, my contractor can't give me what that dollar amount is. We know that once the work is completed, we are going to get a time and material slip that's going to detail everything that they did, including the cost of the hardware or, you know, crash system or something. But I can't get an accurate number for a change order until the work is done. So how are we doing this, and how are we comfortable that, like, for instance, for number 21, which is the double doors out here, the main part of it?
Well, that's
That, like,
that's
you know,
part of it.
going
That's
to
that's
be-
not all of it, but that is part of it.
big
That's
part of it.
a big part of it, but we have additional doors that now that they're opening these doorways and they're finding that the sills are cracked or chipped and they're not leveled, and that's causing an issue for them. And you know, I can't deal directly with Brockwell, even though I have. That's for USA to engage with them, and they have. And you know, I do talk to Mike Gormley on the side, and I say, listen, you know, how does this happen that we get a price and then now we go back and you're giving us a change order? And he's like, well, you know, we open the doors, it's an unforeseen. There's voids in there you can't attach to the doors to.
Did you say there's Bloids in there?
Voids.
Oh.
Not voids, Bloids. Voids.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but at some point, we have to be more accurate. They have to be more accurate, and quite frankly, the simple solution is, okay, we are going to encumber this amount of work, and the change order has to be forthcoming. It has to be, like, ready, but we should be getting a time and material thing to tell us what exactly it is, instead of taking their guess of what it's going to be and then have to amend it, which is all that we're doing lately. It's crazy.
So going back to my conversation with Pete Compensano, him and I, after we spoke with Mike Gormley, I said, can we go upstairs and have a private conversation? And we did, and I said, this has to stop. And he agreed with me, and that's why he went back and he talked to B&C regarding change order 36, which is, it came over yesterday, and that, to me, from what he said, is the 1,700 is not going to be in play. Now, the other stuff is in play, and that's the revised price that they sent over, we didn't have a price last week because once they pulled those doors, they found unforeseen things that needed to be
But
fixed before they could proceed and make it to where it wasn't going to fall apart in there, within that jam, if that makes sense to you.
Ms. Progman may be more able to answer is this the price we're going to pay, or is this the amount we're going to encumber? And they're going to give us a specific order once it's done to let us know what it actually did take, rather than what they estimate it will take.
Right. And I think, to the councilman's point, so we have to get a change order. They are projecting what the costs are in here on these change orders. This is the authorization to encumber that money. This then gets amended to that schedule of values. Once the architect does a drawdown for payment, he's going to be paying based on the value of the work done. So this is, to encumber the funds to have these approved. But then once it's scheduled on the schedule of values, the architect is then going to certify as the work's progressing a percentage and what's actually owed when they produce, the work that's been done.
Councilman Davis?
Okay, I am certainly not an expert on this, so bear with me. But when you start something, you don't know exactly how it's going to end. In other words, they might see, you were saying, cracks or things like that nature, which would have to be added on, but you didn't know that in the beginning. So I guess what I'm saying is the number that you get, it would be great if the number was A and it went all the way down to Z, but that, and once again, I'm not a professional, but that doesn't seem possible to me to the point of when things are found out that we say, okay, we got to go ahead with it, otherwise we're going to have another problem. This is going to fall apart. I mean,
Yeah, I mean.
am I right in what I'm thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we walked the area and we saw what they're talking about with the voids where the old brick was, the doors, that's where the doors are. So when they pulled those off, there was a lot of compromise in that area. Now, granted, they've withstood the last 35 years, 34 years, whatever it's been. But I think with Brockwell, to redo that door, they want that done the correct way.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, part of my problem with this is that, it's almost like we're acting like as if this company's been here for 15 minutes. I mean, this company's been here now for a long time, and some of these problems have to somehow be anticipated. Everything can't be a surprise after a while.
I mean, not for that. I mean, yeah.
With these doors, what Steve's saying is, we don't know what's behind these doors until we take them out. So they came with the new doors, they were all ready to install them that day, pulled the old doors off, and they looked.
And that's when
The
they,
old doors were, there's a void
yeah.
between the brick
Yeah,
and.
I get it.
So they said, if we could put it back in there, but it's not gonna last. So what they did is they said, if we move it in, we can get it to solid block, and it'll never move, but then we have to fix the void on the outside with something, right? So it's unforeseen. The same thing with the sills. When they took the doors out, where the old sills were, where the mortar was, is all broken up. So you said, we can put the doors back, but the sill is gonna be like this, and it's not gonna last, you're gonna get a gap under your door. Those are all unforeseen things that we can't see until we take it apart.
Yes.
At some point,
Building, when they took the windows out, when they took the brick off, the windows were held in just by the brick.
Joe, I get it. All I'm saying, at some point, we have to start foreseeing these things. I mean,
There's certain
You're
things
not going to be able to see
Okay.
until you take it apart.
But that's an estimator's job.
yeah, I mean, God, I
No,
mean, at some
not necessarily. I mean, you're not going to, like you said, you're not going to know how this door was framed out, especially if it's been here since the inception of the building. And then when you go to take it out, there's always unforeseen. You can then say, okay, well, if that is the case for this door, then we can just assume that all the other doors are going to be the same way, and then give you a price for that. But, I mean, you would want to project and say, okay, yeah, we're going to have this issue when we take it out, but you don't know. That's why it's an unforeseen,
So
because it wasn't planned.
Councilwoman Hutchinson hit it right on the head when she said that now that you've pulled those doors off and you see the condition behind that jam, they assume that all the other doors are in the same shape. So that's why the price has been adjusted to reflect the new pricing.
How much longer is Brockwell on the site, on the job? How much more work is there to do?
So my conversation going back again with Pete Compensano, sooner than later.
I would ask the council president if we can.
What's sooner than later? I mean, Christmas is sooner than next Christmas. I mean, when? I mean, are we talking a month, 2 months? What are we
Well,
talking?
but let's ask, here's what I'd like to have, and then you can answer Councilman Socio's question. But any further requests for a change order, let's be fair to everybody and go through a committee or a subgroup, a delegation assigned by the council president to work with you, Ms. Progobin.
No, I
Sure that
agree.
we're okay, and to make Brockwell or whoever it is realize that we're serious about watching this real closely now.
They are aware of it because our conversation today, I was pretty adamant, and that's why I pulled Pete to the side, and I said, Pete, this has to stop. And I said, at some point, they have to give us a number, be set with that number, and not keep coming back to us and saying, well, we got to do this and we got to do that. So we are anticipating.
And then the other, I'm sorry, I mean.
Just consider, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead.
but before we go to Councilwoman Hutchinson, just consider anything else that they say, okay, we're going to have change order for, let's not bring it to a council meeting until it's gone before whoever council president designates, and
Understood.
we'll make sure we're all comfortable with it.
Understood.
So I just wanted to add that even though they're going to give you a number for, if they assume that all the other doors are the same, I'm assuming that if they get to that door and it's not, then they're not going to charge us. So, so it has to be looked at and then assessed at that time and just make sure that they,
Correct.
deduct that from whatever amount that they give.
And the elevator, I believe, was the second piece to that, which, again, I think that's based on the state.
The inspection.
Yes.
Yes, so the elevator, let me get to this real quick. So the elevator work that needs to be corrected, was everybody able to see that? So this work has to be done. DCA has called upon us for making these corrections. We have been working with Vinnie Lupo as well, and he's been coordinating with DCA.
But it's not optional.
It's not optional. This is what it is, and this is the pricing that just came over today. I believe it was about.
Do we have a time frame of when we're going to get these elevators inspected so we can?
Well, once we get this done, yes.
Chief, we need you on the microphone.
The first elevator inspector that came, you can talk about it?
Well, we don't need, okay.
No, I'm just indicating, Councilman, that the inspection from the state initially had a much more substantial estimate and list of requirements.
Yeah.
And we have been intensely negotiating with the state now for 2 months to try to mitigate some of this. We actually went beyond the inspector to hire department people, and they assigned someone else from the DCA, and we mitigated the costs down. But we cannot reopen the elevator, and we cannot move into the second or third floor without the elevator. So these are the minimal state-required repairs that have to be made to the elevator.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions on S? Is there a motion to approve consent agenda item S?
So moved.
Second. Is there discussion further? Roll call, please.
Mr. Shadid?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Mehta?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Socio?
Yes.
Ms. Guadagnino?
Yes.
Councilman Socio was the next one.
W is the agreement with Brownfield Redevelopment Solutions for grant writing services. I had asked the question last Monday. I'd asked you, Mayor. I was away. I was watching the meeting, the joys of technology. It's beautiful. But I would like to know how much have they expended so far in their current 2-year agreement, or is it, yeah, it's a 2-year agreement. How much have they expended, and what have we actually gotten for this, for us employing Brownfield? Because I'd like to know before we actually extend the contract, are we getting what we are bargaining for, and is it worth the investment we have, and how much have we spent so far?
Again, I wasn't aware of that question. I can pull this and look up, while we're here, what has been spent with them to date.
And are you able to determine what we've gotten in grants through their efforts?
I can update, there was a sheet that we had updated around the budget cycle. I can look at that sheet that we had circulated a
You
few
can
months back and
estimate off the top of your head?
update that spreadsheet that we had circulated. But I can't do that, in this moment, but I can circulate that if you want to pull this until the next meeting.
Let's pull it.
I would like to, if possible, please. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. X and Y are intermingled with each other. X is titled the appointment of the deputy court administrator. What is online, even currently, after the agenda was updated, is a resolution with blanks, with no names. When you go to item Y, which is titled the appointment of the public defender, James Shammy, that backup is the actual resolution for the deputy court administrator. So my question is, how are we proceeding? And I'm assuming we're going to take the backup resolution that's on Y, move it to X. However, where's the backup for Y? Because I haven't seen anything, and I'm sure if I haven't seen it, no one else on the council has that either.
Nobody saw the resolution for why? Okay. Ms. Bruggeman?
Yeah, so I see what you're saying. So the one for Shammy it's redundant. It has the same one for the deputy court. So again, we had spoken about it at the workshop, but if it's not on for the official consent agenda, if you want to hold it, we can hold it.
Talking about Shammy?
Yes.
Mr. Shammy's?
Yes.
Let's hold Mr. Shammy's till we get it straight, so everybody has a chance to look at it. I think the deputy court administrator, we probably should act on if we can.
Yeah, I think we should, we can. It's just they're under a different,
It's actually, they're under both of them.
It's under both.
So it may have been updated since you looked.
I've been looking the entire time. There's still blanks unless it's somehow popped up now.
Or maybe it's something with the.
If there's
Now
blanks
it's
on there,
there.
how should they be filled?
This is
All right,
the website.
now it's there. I don't know when it came up, but I just checked. In fact, you and I looked at it. There were blanks before we started the meeting.
Why don't you give us those numbers?
so I'm gonna-
Everybody's aware.
So I will make the motion to approve Resolution X, provided that the proper backup
Second.
is there.
Second.
What are the numbers in there that?
No, it's for Samantha. When I looked
Who may not-
when I looked before the meeting, and I checked a couple times, and Ron and I even looked it over, where Samantha Lau's name is now in the backup under X, it was blank.
Oh, but the salaries, the numbers are.
No,
There's no numbers on
There
there.
are numbers. It's just
Oh,
saying
I
the
thought we
designation.
missed
No, yeah.
Oh, I
That's-
got you.
That's
Thank
not
you.
published, no.
Thank you. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understand what Carla's saying. So that one you agree with, that it should be as it's stated here, am I correct?
Now that it's been clarified and filled in.
Yeah.
for Samantha
Right,
Lau,
Carlo?
the Backup
Yes.
information,
I
yes.
want to make sure,
And then
thank
we're
you.
pulling along.
So it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Mr. Shadid?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson? Mr. Mehta?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes,
Mr. Socio?
Yes.
Ms. Guadagnino?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, before we go into closed session, I'd just like to just make a general statement here. I mean, I was able to check over the weekend, during the day. We just need to do a little better when it comes to the consent agenda and the resolutions. We cannot have blanks. They cannot be populated now or prior, because we have to know what we are considering, what we are voting on. So I just ask, please, if we could do just a little better. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
Motion.
So a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Read the reading of the resolution.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. This is a resolution authorizing the mayor and council to enter into executive session. Whereas the mayor and council are mindful of the right of the public to attend and witness meetings of governmental bodies at which public business is discussed and to be involved in all phases of governmental action. And whereas the Open Public Meetings Act nonetheless recognizes the authority of a public body to exclude the public from meetings in certain enumerated instances in which disclosure of matters discussed could endanger public safety, property, or other public interest, or invade individual privacy. And whereas, as authorized by the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12B, mayor and council have a need to meet in private session to discuss matters affecting pending or anticipated litigation to which the public body may be a party and/or matters within the attorney-client privilege. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council will meet in private session at 7:28 p.m. on January 21st, 2025, to discuss the following specific items: matters regarding the township's affordable housing obligation and potential litigation or matters within the attorney-client privilege. Be it further resolved that the matters so discussed will be disclosed to the public at the time the township adopts its prospective affordable housing obligation, or the matters and issues otherwise become a matter of public record. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Everybody make sure you're showing red on the microphone. Resolution 67-1.25.
So moved.
Is there discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there anybody who would have to recuse themselves from any of the approval of minutes this evening? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes of our workshop meeting of December 9th, 2024, our regular meeting December 12th, 2024, and our reorganization meeting of January 2nd, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance for first reading and introduction number 25-01. We discussed it very briefly at our last meeting. Councilman Socha wasn't at the workshop. Did you have anything you wanted to talk about on that before we get a motion to introduce?
No, as I spoke with you earlier, in watching the meeting, I did acknowledge, it was brought up, but didn't seem to be much of a discussion. I just want to make sure that we go through a proper discussion, a thorough discussion, possibly more than one public hearing, just for the reason that, look, no one may show up. However, we're making a dramatic change to our way that we do business, which is fine, and no one's going to care until they care, and I want to make sure that we at least afford the public an opportunity to be heard with that, so.
Let's make sure about that. In fact, we'll make sure something is put on the website to confirm that we're doing this, and anything else anybody thinks of that we ought to do to make the public aware. We can get a bell, and Mr. Ritz can go through the town. Hear you. Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 25-01?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Socio, have you been assigned the task of reading any public announcements this
Just
evening?
two quick ones, and I want to make a general comment. So from the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services, swim testing is coming up Saturday, February 1st and February 8th at the Township High School pool. Swim testing times are scheduled by appointment only. So if you are interested, please contact the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services, 732-247-0922, extension 475, to schedule a swim testing day and time. The general hours will be between 10:30 and 1:15 on both days, and we ask you to please, participants will be assigned a time to report for testing, and please do not come to the pool without a scheduled testing time. And while it seems obvious, we will remind you that swimmers should bring bathing suits and towels. That's February 1st and 8th, and if you're interested, please contact the department. And second, do bring the bathing suit and the towel. It does definitely help. And secondly, our blood drive will be Friday, February the 28th, from noon to 5, and this will be held on the first floor of the municipal building right here. Just a couple of things. You need to be 17 years old to donate to the general blood supply, or 16 years old with a parental guardian or the parental or guardian consent. Regular blood donations may be given every 56 days. So if you come and you donated 55 days ago, you will be turned away. Make sure you have that. If you are a regular blood donor, have that. So that's basically it. Again, Friday, February 28th, from noon to 5 p.m. And then, on a sad note today, Middlesex County in general lost someone who was a North Brunswick resident, graduated from the high school in 1978, worked at Rutgers doing security for many of years. You may have seen him and not even known who he was, or those of us who know him know exactly who he was, and we all kidded and like to say how we like to be the first person to announce many things, whether it was last night, ironically enough, the Ohio State Buckeyes winning the national championship, or the recent passing of a class member, as Michael has said. Been a rough, week or two with MBTHS alum passing away. It's been crazy, but Dave Rosenthal, longtime county employee, graduate of MBTHS in 1978, longtime Rutgers security guard employee, gave a lot of people in the area jobs. Rutgers super fan, and quite frankly, as you see all throughout the course of the day, everyone's friend. Passed away on his way to work this morning suddenly, and it's really a sad thing. I was talking to the Edison athletic director, and one of the last times I saw Dave was 8 months ago, because today is 8 months ago to the day of the passing of longtime Edison baseball coach and athletic director, North Brunswick resident, Jim Muldowney. And it's just ironic the way things go. And the last time I saw Jim, he was being a parent watching his daughter coach the Edison softball team. So it's just been a crazy day and a lot of memories being brought up. And really, Dave was a friend to everyone. And you may not even know who he was by, I'm not going to name, but if you see him, you know exactly who he was. So on behalf of the council and the township, we want to send our condolences to, Dave's family, his girlfriend Patty, and rest in peace, Dave. You will be missed.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you very much. Council President?
Nothing, thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Shadid? Councilman Davis?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Councilman Maida? Councilman Hutchison? Councilwoman Hutchinson? Any director, Ms. Broderbent, anything? Is there anyone who'd like to be heard in public hearing? Seeing no one in the audience, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Since Mr. Nastis is not here this evening, did anyone have any questions for Mr. Ritz? Is there a motion to close the meeting this evening?
moved.
Adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody have a great night.